What's the movie, you ask? Well, it's a zombie movie starring Johnny Knoxville and Josh Hutcherson, who are this episode's celebrity cameos. Apparently, the disease is spread through the zombies' projectile diarrhea. Now, I don't know about you, but that is not exactly mining comedy gold, in my opinion. I'd be curious to hear what you guys think, though. For those of you who watched this episode, was that funny to you?
It's kind of gross.
Welcome back to another episode of The Rank. I'm John, and today we're going to be ranking another episode of The Studio. Now, the premise of this whole thing is to figure out what sitcom is the best of all time by going through every episode and ranking them and then averaging them out to figure out which one is the best overall. Now, if you're enjoying these episodes or if you're just a fan of The Studio and enjoy consuming content about it, please subscribe and or follow, like the episodes and comment or email your questions, suggestions, and all that jazz. Please also consider becoming a patron on our Patreon page at patreon.com/thelink-podcast. Now, today we're ranking the 6th episode of the first season of The Studio titled The Pediatric Oncologist, which was written by Alex Gregory and directed by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. And since this is a new series, as I continue to say, I'm going to avoid spoilers, but, you know, there might be. No, there won't. I'll keep spoilers. So let's get into it, starting with the potent notables. So the name of Matt's action franchise is MK Ultra, which is the name of a 2022 movie and also a strain of marijuana, because of course it is, Seth Rogen. And the clip they use for the movie is actually from the action movie Push, which, you know, if you guys want me to, I'll rank that one in the action movie series. So Seth Rogen had an interesting take on his character Matt. Well, we being Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen, I think when we made Superbad, we were just like, the more you see someone get shit on, the more terrible behavior they can get away with. The fact that someone spits on Jonah Hill's character makes it so he could say like 20 minutes of terrible shit, and you kind of sympathize with him. So the fact that nobody likes me and no one hangs around me, I think allows my character to push the comedy further, and my character's likability was a real active topic of discussion as we were shooting the show. There'd be times even the camera guy would come up to me and be like, "You're losing me a little here," end quote. I have to say, I get what the cameraman is saying. There are definitely times I felt that way with Matt. But interestingly, in this episode, they had to make the doctors meaner to Matt because of this. Well, we actually had to change that midway through to make them be way meaner to him. It wasn't supposed to be that way, and they all just intrinsically started doing it. And then we rewrote things quickly to match it, end quote. So I thought that was kind of fun. All right, so that's it. Those are the potent notables. Let's go to the episode overview. So this week's episode of The Studio is the first one that didn't necessarily feel like an homage to something else. It's just a relationship episode. So like we got a focus on Sal and Quinn last week, this week we get a focus on Matt. So Matt is dating a pediatric oncologist. So from the outset, as an audience member, if someone told me that a studio head was dating a pediatric oncologist, I think I would just be like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Feels like rich person, dates rich person, or as my dad would say, doctors marry lawyers, and everybody knows the carpenters marry waitresses. That's just how it goes.
It's quite poetic.
He sang it. I'm not a good singer. Anyway, the episode goes on to show us the differences that rich people may have. Like, this rich person is super into the arts, and this rich person is super into golf. Just so incompatible. So Matt's new girlfriend invites him to a charity gala, which we've all been to, right?
Right?
Right.
He's genuinely excited to go. Of course, his coworkers are annoyed with this decision because they need him to be around to make decisions for a trailer for their new movie. They've got a deadline of 10 p.m. that night, so it's time sensitive. What's the movie, you ask? Well, it's a zombie movie starring Johnny Knoxville and Josh Hutcherson, who are this episode's celebrity cameos. Apparently, the disease is spread through the zombies' projectile diarrhea. Now, I don't know about you, but that is not exactly mining comedy gold, in my opinion. I'd be curious to hear what you guys think, though. For those of you who watched this episode, was that funny to you?
It's kind of gross.
And I guess if you haven't watched the episode, are diarrhea jokes in general, like depictions of diarrhea, like seeing diarrhea fly out of an asshole, is that funny? Because for me, it's just, I don't think poop is all that funny for the most part. I mean, I don't like have an aversion to it or anything. I've wiped a lot of butts. I've got 5 kids. Well, I have 4 kids. I've got 1 coming next month. But anyway, it certainly feels very on brand for Johnny Knoxville at the very least. So there's one scene in particular where they highlight the dichotomy of Matt and his girlfriend's careers. They're walking into the gala and they're both on work calls, right? So she's talking about a clinical trial to help save a little girl's life. And Matt, just as fervently, is fighting to keep the shitsplosion in the trailer. So yeah, they do different things. Eventually, what we get is a lot of condescension and petulance. I think this episode is designed to make you empathize with Matt because he's been a little on the annoying side, at the least, prick at the worst in the past few episodes. It's effective at doing that, though. I was definitely finding empathy for Matt. A lot of crazy stuff ensues to the point where you're once again going, how is this guy a studio head? I suppose I think of people that have gotten to that position in life as having their shit together, but, maybe they don't. If we're basing it off this, they certainly don't. It was another effective episode of the studio. Also, this was the last episode that I had already seen. So I got to this episode before I decided to start ranking and stopped and have been rewatching. So next week's episode will be the first time I've seen the episode new while I'm also ranking it. And I'm realizing as I'm saying this, you probably don't care about this, but I thought it was fun and so I shared it. So there you go. But that's it. That's the whole episode. Let's see how it ranked.
Oh, rank.
So the rank is where I rank the episode based on 5 categories: story, acting, dialogue, episode coherence, and character relatability. I rank it on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. And then I add a laugh counter where I tally up the amount of times that the episode made me laugh out loud, and that gets added to the score. The first category is story, and I gave that a 4.5. Relationship stories are always good ones for sitcoms, and this one is no different. Excellent story. Making rich people feel relatable is hard, but this show is doing that pretty well. I like the way they put this together and that they find a way to give you empathy for Matt in a circumstance where you'd think there'd be no way that would happen at a Pediatric Oncology Gala charity event. I'm not going to go any further than that. I'm trying to avoid spoilers for you. The next category is acting, which I gave a 4.75. Acting was excellent. Actually, the guest acting was really good too. Whoever they had playing the doctors was great. Just the right level of nerdy, but also condescending. Even Knoxville was fine playing himself. Still not great though. I mean, it is Johnny Knoxville after all. I got no problem with you, Johnny, but you're not a great actor. No offense.
Well, yes, it is true.
So we go to dialogue, which is the next category, which I gave a 4.75. Really great dialogue, really clever, maybe a little too much diarrhea and shit stuff, but it worked. Also, again, as I've been saying for the show, there aren't a lot of laugh out loud moments, which would be better for a comedy, It's a comedy, so make me laugh out loud more, just saying. So let's go to episode coherence, which I give a 5. This, again, is where the show shines. They make compact stories where they don't have much real estate, so they use everything they can. Everything serves a plot point. Everything fits together. It's really a very well done show so far. So let's go to character relatability, which I gave a 5. I know I spent a lot of the overview sort of making fun of the fact that this lifestyle isn't relatable, but I actually found the motivations of everyone in this episode to be super relatable, even if their lifestyles aren't. So that leaves us with the laugh counter, which I had 10, which it's not bad. It's double digits at least, but I feel like it should be more. For the caliber of the show that I'm watching, it feels like I should have more laughs. But the total for this episode is a 34.25, which puts it just below the Holy Grail, staying in the I'd watch it again tier. So that puts the series average at a 31.875 average, which keeps it in I'd watch it again. So thanks for listening, everybody. If you'd like to see a list of our episode and series rankings, you can do that on our website, therankwithjohnzach.com. Remember to subscribe, review, and comment, and please consider supporting us on our Patreon site at patreon.com/therankedpodcast, where you can get access to all of our archived episodes. And I will leave you with this. Why was there so much symmetry between Matt's life and the fake diarrhea movie they were making? Because when he tries to leave the gala, he runs.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. It's the best thing. Okay, burp right in the middle of it. Great.
It's kind of gross.